Today we're checking out an interesting video. It's about getting laid off in the Netherlands versus the USA because obviously with how their governments are set up in each country, it can be very, very different.
You hear about like large corporations just laying off thousands of people in the US like decently frequently actually. There's like, all right, we're gonna lay off all these people. If you got hit, we're sorry.
Even when they get bailed out by the government during a recession, and that was like the whole reason the bailout came, so they didn't hurt the economy, they still, lay off a bunch of people and everybody loses their health care if it's tied in with your job.
So let's see what it's like in the Netherlands then.
Just as I celebrated my 5 years in the Netherlands, I lost my job.
You're fired. You're fired.
But hold up,
Don.
Trump. It ain't so easy.
I think that's going to be what's happening to Don pretty soon based on some new leaked information.
But they're just gonna cover it up.
You're fired.
But hold up, Trump. It ain't so easy to just get laid off here. Because in the US, one day you're here and the next day you're... Layoffs happen.
Nice.
The layoffs are already piling up.
An Amazon spokesperson did confirm those layoffs.
Spotify is slashing 1,500 jobs.
But it's a lot harder to get
1,500.
fired or laid off in the Netherlands as compared to the US. I actually found the process kinda fascinating.
Something like Spotify, there's no way that Spotify didn't just lay off people because AI could do like an online tech company like that.
So then it's just like, oh, it's a layoff, guys. We don't need you anymore.
AI's the future.
Because there's a social safety net to catch you when you fall.
Wow.
So in this video, let me share with you how layoffs work in the Netherlands compared to the US, including the layoff process, severance packages, what about healthcare, unemployment benefits, and I'll also include tips about the layoff process as well as visa implications for foreigners. The following contains layoff stories from people in the Netherlands. It
Thank
may
you.
also cause one to leave, pack your bags, and move to the Netherlands. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm scared now.
Let's get laid off in the Netherlands. So I have this random one-on-one that was just put on my calendar, which is kind of strange. So I think something's gonna happen. As soon as I walk in, HR. David? And then I knew. It's not you. I'm in shock, but I know I have rights in this country. I'm not gonna sign this document right away. So I take my agreement and leave. So I've survived a few
That is
layoffs in the
interesting.
US.
So, I mean, I've never been fired in the U.S. before. I assume they just try to pressure you to sign the document right away so you lose some of the rights that you could have had. And but they try to pressure you.
Yeah, because you just like kind of like sign off on like the first deal they basically give you versus being like, oh wait, actually, I should be able to get more out of you guys.
It's kind of like the airlines when they like try to give you an offer even though legally you're entitled to more. But they're like, here's this little bit that's a third of the amount we're supposed to give you. Do you want it?
Yeah, come on, take it right now, right now.
Come on, this is your only chance.
And because employment is at will, anyone can get let go at any time for any reason. And many do have to pack and leave right away because the company wants to prevent employees from potentially sabotaging the company. Some get
Companies
severance,
first in the
many
US.
don't.
Always.
But in the Netherlands, you just can't get let go without a valid reason because law is strict, especially if one has a permanent contract. The company needs a lot of evidence to prove to the government agency that they have a valid reason to lay this person off. So often, they'll offer a settlement agreement. So several people told me, David, never sign the first agreement. It's a negotiation.
So I mean, basically, the U.S. doesn't even have that at all. They can just get rid of you because the corporations take supreme law there.
Yeah. I mean, and then you can probably file for unemployment, but that probably doesn't last very long. And if you sign something, maybe they won't even give it to you. Who knows?
Yeah, literally.
People who didn't know their rights and they were scared, so they signed the agreement right away. If they had waited, they would have gotten more. And don't be too scared about that deadline. It's mainly for them. And you actually get 2 extensions, 2 weeks each. So give them a call. And if
Plenty
there's a
of
mass
time.
layoff, get together with a group of people so you can help and support each other. A friend who went through a mass layoff with her company told me that they created this WhatsApp group called do not sign, and they helped and supported each other through the process. But let me tell you what one can expect. Generally, you'll get a settlement agreement or severance package that includes the following. At a minimum, you'll get what's called a transition payment, which is 1/3 of your gross salary for every year that you worked. For example, if you worked
Whoa. Okay, 1/3 of your salary for each year that you've been employed?
years and your monthly gross salary is 6,000 euros, then you would get 10,000 euros. And often the company will pay you a lump sum or a settlement payment so that you will mutually agree to leave. But a rule of thumb is that it should be at least 2 months because that's the amount of time to go through the UWV process. You can also negotiate for garden leave, which means you extend your last day so that you can stay on the payroll longer. And when you're on garden leave, usually you don't have to work once you sign. Another thing is that you have a notice period, which must be at least 1 full month. Your notice period is based on how many years you've been working. For example, the notice period is 1 month if you've worked less than 5 years, and it goes up to a max of 4 months. So
I mean, that's the thing. In the U.S., you can work somewhere for 20 years and they can just fire you. People get fired before their retirement benefits kick in, and then they lose them.
And I mean, like, that's just a thing that, like, even if you are dedicated to a company for 10 to 15 years, you're not going to get 3 months notice. They can do it at any time.
And I feel like severance isn't a thing unless it's like a very high up management person. Like that isn't a thing for just normal employees getting severance.
No.
It off on February 10th. The notice period starts at the beginning of March, so your last day will be March 31st. This means you'll still get paid for at least another month as well. So your total settlement package includes this transition payment, plus your lump sum settlement payment, plus any garden leave or anything extra that's included in your company's contract. So all in all, what do people generally get from a settlement agreement? Let me share a few examples of friends. Jim was let go due to performance. He and his lawyer didn't think the company performed all the right steps, but Jim wanted to leave and they negotiated for a better package than was offered. Anne's position was eliminated because her visa was sponsored by her company. She wanted more garden leave, and with the help of her lawyer, she was able to negotiate more garden leave by giving up her severance pay.
6 months.
Bob was laid off because his former company wasn't doing well financially. He initially only got the minimum, but through his lawyer, they were able to negotiate a better deal. Now, I also know of people who went through the UWV route and won. They were able to stay employed for another year. Now, in the US, there is no federal or state law that mandates severance pay. It depends on the employer. Now, I know of friends who got some nice severance packages from these big tech companies, but they are the minority. I know many more people who got nothing.
25%.
And find a good lawyer to negotiate for you. Often companies will pay some of the lawyer fees, or the lawyer would negotiate the company to pay for your
include
fees.
lawyer fees.
David, this is a game. It's us versus them. But don't worry, I got your back. So you then send your lawyer all the legal documents, you talk about what you want, and then...
We are prepared to make you a very generous offer.
And we are prepared to reject that offer. What is your second offer?
And typically there are 2 paths. You mutually settle to an agreement, or the process goes to the UWV, the Dutch Employment Agency. If the case goes to the UWV, the process can take up to 2 months. Now, what's a valid reason? Well, if the company's broke, that's easy. But if the company wants to restructure, they must follow guidelines like the reflection principle, last in, first out. The last one who enters is the first one to let go based on similar positions by age groups. The company must also prove that they've tried to reassign you to a different role in the company. I also have friends who got laid off due to underperformance. Now, the company must do everything that they can do to try to get you back on track. Performance improvement plan, training, mentoring, coaching. I have one friend who got let go due to underperformance, but she was never offered this performance improvement plan. The company didn't follow the rules. So the lawyer called them out, and she was able to negotiate an even bigger severance package. And if the company does even bigger layoffs, there's an even more complicated process that involves the works council, trade unions. Now, I have one friend from HR who told me at her company
crazy. Just
when
like
employees learn
we're only
about
2/3 through the video, and the stuff that he's talking about, I mean, that does not exist in the US. It's just not a thing. The companies have complete control of everything. Your healthcare is tied up in it. Sometimes a lot of your life is tied up in this company, and then they can just be like, we don't need you anymore. Goodbye.
It's almost like not letting the company control everything actually makes people's lives a little bit better.
I mean, like, thinking about the workers instead of only how much money you can make sometimes benefits people's lives.
Yeah, letting the company, which is literally based off making profits, which is from exploiting people, decide if they want to exploit an employee or not. It seems like might be a bad thing.
It seems like they might do that every single time if their main goal is to make money.
Literally.
Potential mass layoff, half of them decided to call in sick, mental health reasons.
And did you hear about the Spotify case? Well, they tried to lay off 11% of its staff in the Netherlands, but they didn't follow the rules, so they were forced to reverse the layoffs.
Now, each person's case is different, and you also have to consider the emotional toll. So, what's next? What about my health care? So, as an American, this was a big concern for me. Because in the US, health care...
Probably not that big of a concern in the Netherlands, I wouldn't think. I think America has a especially horrible healthcare system.
Yes.
Is tied to your job, your employer. And once you lose your job, you lose your health care, and health care is really expensive. Now in the US, when you lose your job, you can stay on your company's health insurance, but it's really expensive.
Like around $700 per month for a single person and almost $2,000 for a family. In the Netherlands, most companies provide health care, but you have to pay the premium, but it's affordable. So if you get laid off, you just continue paying the premium, which is around 135 euros per month for a single person, or if
And you can easily take that out of your garden pay or your severance that you just
your
got.
family of 4 with 2 kids under 18, it would be around 300 euros because healthcare is free for kids under 18.
And if you get laid off and it's not your fault, you can get unemployment benefits from the Netherlands.
You get 1 month of unemployment pay for every year that you worked. For the first 2 months, you get around 75% of your monthly wage with a max of around 4,500 euros. And then it's 70% each month thereafter. And you can also get money from the Dutch government to pay for training if it can help you find a job.
Really?
In the US, unemployment varies state by state.
In California, you get $160 to $1,800 per month. In Texas, you'll get around $300 to $2,300 per month.
How much you can get average rent for a 1 bed? Oh my god.
Can't even live. Yeah, can't even find a place to stay with the unemployment.
That's so insane.
But I mean, that is communism. It's a handout, so
That's
it's
true.
communism, so that's actually bad.
They should be pulling themselves up by their bootstraps if they get surprisingly laid off.
But if you live in San Francisco, where rent is like $3,000 per month, good luck living on unemployment. So all in all, in the Netherlands, your years of work experience give you more unemployment benefits. And in the US, what you get depends on which state you're in.
Oh yeah, what about my visa situation? Luckily for Americans, we have a special freelancer visa that allows us to work in the country. But for many foreigners, this is a big one. Because you get 90 days after your last day on the job to find a new job to sponsor you. That's why many foreigners will decide to negotiate for more garden leave, more time so that they have more time to look for a new job.
In the US, if you lose your job as a foreigner, you have 60 days to find a new visa sponsor.
60?
You don't get unemployment nor federally funded healthcare. You also can't freelance or work part-time. Good luck, Stephanie.
What?
So to recap, getting laid
So you're just screwed. You're abandoned in a foreign country, and then they're going to pay you. They're probably going to fine you if you don't get something soon.
That's why that H-1B visa thing, they like say that they're slaves. That they come and they work for like Tesla or one of these big tech companies. You lose everything if you get fired. So if the company's like, you're going to work 14 hours today and you're not going to get any overtime pay, deal with it. You can't complain. Who are you going to complain to?
You're going to be like, no, you know what? I quit. And then they're like, okay, good luck finding a new job in 60 days.
And not having any money while you do it. Good luck. That's crazy. Gosh.
Laid off sucks, but it helps to know that there's time, that you won't get kicked out right away, to not have to worry about health care, to get unemployment benefits, to feel protected by the law. But I'm grateful to know that there's a safety net to catch me if I do fall. Well, thanks for watching, and I'm curious, what have your
Very, very interesting. I mean, it's kind of what we'd expect at this point, seeing these America versus Europe comparisons. The U.S. is always very, very pro-business, pro-corporation, and the workers basically get crumbs.
And the Netherlands seems to be very well, have a very good outlook on how it should be for the actual individual.
Make it so people won't literally die if they have a medical problem during their unemployment days. That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, a little safety net.
Yeah. But thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.